Hey everybody, my name is Sharon Quinn and I'm also known as the original runway diva, and you are watching Model Behavior. Class is officially in session. Today, my guest lecturer is Madeline Figueroa-Jones, the editor-in-chief of Plus Model magazine, also known as PMM, the #1 publication celebrating the plus-size fashion and plus modeling industry. Welcome, Maddie, to Model Behavior.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, you know, I've been trying to get you here since I started doing this, and this whole schedule thing was messing everything up. But let's get right to it. You went from model to magazine editor. How did you do that? How did you get your start, and how did you make that transition?
I just was in the right place at the right time. I was always really passionate. I took classes at Gwen DeVoe's school.
Plus Academy?
The Plus Academy. I was her star pupil, I'd like to say. I don't know if she would agree, but I definitely would say that. And I took everything that I was taught and put it to use. You know, I didn't waste my money. I didn't waste my time. I really did listen to everything and all the instructors that she would bring in.
And what sort of things did you learn at the Plus Academy?
That the modeling business is actually a business.
Come on now.
And it's not about me. It's not about being pretty. It's not even about being a role model. It's really about selling clothing. That's what a model really is. And that's what I learned. She had agents come in, she had working models come in, she had so many people that actually worked in the industry, and you really learn from those people because they're able to give you their experiences, and they're veterans in the industry. So I was able to learn so much from that. And I actually was able to take that and kind of make it a career, because when I realized I couldn't be a model, I was the breadwinner at my home. So I couldn't go to castings. I was at the verge of almost losing my job because I was leaving my job to go to castings and stuff like that. And I just was always just so passionate about being a plus size woman. I actually saw a feature in Allure magazine, and they had 3 women go on diets for like a month and a half. They all lost 10 pounds. The before pictures were terrible. The after pictures were, amazing. Mm-hmm. So I was so upset because I'm an Allure subscriber. I love makeup, and what message are you sending? So I called Mia and I called Lisa Essling, and I said, we need to do these pictures over at our size. At the time, we were all size 18. So we wrote a letter to Allure magazine, and we had Luke take our picture in the after pictures. So we did exactly what those women were wearing. We did exactly what they were doing. So if they were sitting on a stool, I sat on a stool. We sent those pictures in the letter to Allure, and they not only posted it, but they put it in the magazine.
Really?
They contacted me. That's how I really got my start, because when Michelle Weston and Catherine Schuler saw that, they basically called Valerie and were asking her, like, who's this chick? And why does she think she could do that? So they asked me in. I was like summoned, like the Italian mob, like summoned, So I went and I was like, Luke, you need to come with me. I'm scared. And basically they were like, who told you could do that? I said, well, my mother said I could be president of the United States. So obviously I'm not going to be the president, but she said I could do anything I want and I should be able to use my voice. And that's what I did. I told them how I felt, and I wanted to show them that we could be beautiful at a size 18. I didn't have to be on a diet and lose 10 pounds to be absolutely amazing.
And is that what that's the light bulb that went off in your head?
Yeah, because the opportunities really opened up. At first, I was a contributing editor for Amaze magazine. That's where I met my business partner. So Plus Model magazine is not just mine. I have a business partner, Valerie, and Valerie was one of the editors at Amaze. So when Amaze folded, she was the one that said to me, I have a really great idea, and I think you and I could work together on this. So it was a bi-monthly magazine at the time, because we didn't know how the industry was going, to kind of take it.
So when you, that's right, when you started PMM, it came out every other month.
Yes, it was bi-monthly.
I remember back in, I'm going to take it back a little while, there were a lot of publications, even before the whole online magazine thing happened, and they all sort of just fizzled out.
Yeah.
Most commonly known, or the most popular, was Mode magazine, which I thought was a great magazine. I didn't like some of the things that they did, with the sizing thing, but I thought it was a great idea, and everything seems to fizzle out. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, Mode kind of came in when I was trying to be a model, so I only know what I heard about why it fizzled out. I heard that advertisers, were pulling out. I also heard that there was a lot of inside turmoil, a lot of stuff going on. So I don't really know exactly why it did. I do know for a fact that advertising is really difficult to get when it deals with
I mean, I
plus
spent
size.
20 years in publishing work in billing of all things. And I just know that there's a market for it. Now, paper publication is fading now. You know, the whole thing, the online trend is the big trend now. But are you successful? Are you still having to plug at it? I mean, is it still hard, or?
It's always challenging because the online magazine industry is changing a lot. When we first started, it was HTML, so it was all codes. Then came, you know, the type of, like, we're on JewMag. Before that, we were on Issue. You know, then those kind of popped up. If those things didn't pop up, we would have still been doing code. So now you have these amazing platforms that you can use because this is where the market is going. You're leaving paper and going, you know, online.
You know, I'm going to look up what you just said, that Issue, and what was the other
JewMag.
one? Because I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but those are the platforms that you can use to create. I mean, you can create anything. If you wanted to create a media kit, you can use JewMag. You can use Issue and have it flip and look amazing and just send people the link instead of having to make a PDF and all that other stuff.
So how do you make your money, though? Is this, you still have to make money off of
advertising? Is the way that because we've watched other people try to get money through being, you know, having the people subscribe, and it just doesn't work. Especially when you start off free. When you start off free and all of a sudden,
and then you're asking people for money.
They're not going to do it unless we went to paper, which was my ultimate goal in the beginning. But now, because of everything, how everything is, now that's not my ultimate goal. But we are going to come out with a book. So that's the plus side. So we're working with a publisher, and actually I haven't even said this.
PMN the book?
Like a PMN the book. So we're actually going to do a book about, you know, who we are and what we've done, and, you know, kind of like a table coffee book about Plus Model Magazine.
Okay, well, where do you think the future of not just Plus Model Magazine, because let me just say, I see a lot of online plus size magazines, and not all of them are good. I have...
I have,
you know, former English major. I got a little issue with a magazine littered with typos. That really bothers me. And apparently everybody can do this now, and so everybody is doing it.
Right.
But not every magazine is a good magazine.
Right.
What makes yours stand out from the pack?
I think it's the team. I think you're only as strong as the team around you. So starting from my business partner and I, you know, she has been publishing online for so many years. She's a professional. And I have Rhea, who's, you know, the fashion director. This is what she does for a living. You know, I have other fashion contributors. Those are women that know fashion. Like, you can't say anything. You can't ask them anything. They know what's going on. So I think you're only really as strong as the team around you. So I think that's why we've been so successful. But also because I've worked really, really hard. I have sacrificed my life. I don't live where I want to live. I live very modestly because I've had to put so much time, effort, and money into Plus Model Magazine to get it to where it is today. So this is not for the faint at heart. Having your own business and having your own online plus magazine is not for the faint at heart.
Why do you say that? Go a little deeper.
Because not everyone will like what you're doing. You know, I've been accused of advocating obesity. I've been accused of, you know, using, you know, models. You know, they get paid what magazines get paid, but, you know, we're not able to, you know, do exotic locations, you know, like big brands or big magazines do. I mean, I've had people send me Vogue tears and say, why don't you do this? You know how much a Vogue editorial costs?
Yeah, you don't have Vogue money. And Vogue is not a solo publication. They have a publishing house.
But the general public doesn't know that.
Condé Nast, one of the biggest publishers?
Yes.
Get out of here.
But they don't know that. See, the general public doesn't realize that. And because we make the magazine look so good, they think we're making money hand over fist, not realizing we are really just meeting our budget based on advertisers coming in. And then we do have, you know, competition, you know, because if they give us money, they may not give us money the next month if they're going to do Full Figure Fashion Week, or if they're going to do.
Wow.
So we're all basically in competition without even realizing it, because they don't. A lot of the brands don't have advertising budgets. They have social media or blank.
Because that's the big thing. Yeah.
That's the thing. They don't want to advertise. That's why there's so many people creating, you know, brands or creating clothing, but they just don't advertise to plus size women, thinking they're just going to take what we want, you know, what we're giving them.
Well, okay, I'm gonna be devil's advocate. Why not just do what it is that you really want to do? I mean, why not just, you know, shut down shop and say, okay, this is too much. I don't want to do it anymore. What's driving you to keep this magazine going?
Because this is really what I want to do. And I feel like I am truly following my journey. this is what I was supposed to do. I wasn't supposed to be a model. I think I was supposed to be a model for that time in order for me to be able to feel for the girls and know what they go through and have that empathy for them, but also know that you have to be that professional person. The things that I learned, I'm able to implement in what I do today. You know, those lessons that I learned at the Plus Academy, I use today, not just for models, but for myself. So I really do believe that everyone has an opportunity, and if that's what you're supposed to do, you may go right, you may go left, but if that's what you're supposed to do, you will get back on that path.
Okay.
And I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. So other things have happened, had a baby, you know.
Well, life happens.
Yeah, 9/11, stuff happens, but this is my journey. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do.
And where do you think your journey will take you? Where do you hope it will take you? Because we don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Well, my goals are always really big, you know. So my goal is to be, you know, uber popular, you know, in the online magazine world, to be able to really, you know, step up the game for the plus size industry. I want to shoot in those locations. You know, I feel like the plus size woman deserves that. She deserves an actual Vogue for her, you know, and I want to be able to kind of help bring everyone with me. You know what I mean? Because I feel like in this industry, there's not a lot of, you know, women helping women. You see how men in Hollywood, every time you see Adam Sandler, he has his crew in his movie. You see Kevin James, he has his crew in his movie. In this industry, in the plus size fashion industry in particular, because that's what I know, I don't see a whole lot of women doing for each other. You know what I mean? Like, it could happen here and there, I'm not saying it doesn't, but you don't see a whole lot of, let me help you. Let me do something for you.
Why do you think that is?
Because we're such a small pond. And it's like we're all in competition, and we're not able to see ourselves give somebody else an opportunity and give them the accolades that they deserve. If we would be more kind and say, you know what, a win for one is a win for all, if that was the mentality that we had, we would be so much further along. But you have bloggers against bloggers, designers against designers, you have producers against producers.
Hold up. Good segue. You brought up bloggers. Now, you know, the blogging industry, from what I'm hearing, is blowing up. You got bloggers having managers and $10,000 per engagement and all sorts of stuff like that. How has it or is it impeding upon what it is that you're trying to do? Because bloggers are now models. They're all,
well, it's kind of putting it.
Okay.
But I think if we look at the big picture is, why are plus size fashion bloggers so successful? Because at the end of the day, the way that the modeling industry was marketing to the plus size woman was not working. The models were getting smaller and smaller and smaller. They're trying still to get rid of the whole plus size term. Why? Because the girls are getting smaller and smaller. You have girls that are size 6 and 8 and 10 being plus size models. But then you put a plus size woman, a beautiful plus size woman that actually wears the clothes well, and the people are buying the clothes from her and not from the model. So sometimes you have bloggers making more money than the top models in our industry.
Then why no change?
They feel comfortable. I think, this is my opinion, I think that some brands feel comfortable using a blogger because she's not a model, even though they may use her as a model, but she's not a model. But they still want the model name. They still want to appear like they're using the industry standard, which is the smaller girl.
So who is the person that changes the industry standard? Because that term gets on my damn nerves.
It's the brands. The brands are in charge, and I'll tell you why. I used to be mad at the agencies, because I thought the agencies were the ones that, you know, they wouldn't, you know, book the girls, they wouldn't hire the girls, and wouldn't give them contracts if they were bigger. But then an agent told me this story. Have a model, she's a size 16, she was moderately working, really beautiful girl, up on the rise. She was really tall, and she gained a little bit of weight to an 18. She was sent on a job, like cross country. They paid her for the day, even though she wore everything. She still fit into the clothes and everything, but because she looked bigger, because she looked like an 18, even though she fit the 16, because she looked like an 18, they sent her home, right back on the plane. Why? Because the brands don't feel comfortable with a plus size woman with a certain size. Right now, maybe if you're a 16, you can get away with certain brands, but there are brands that will not touch you.
That is incredibly stupid to me.
I know.
You're marketing to big women.
But they're also the ones that are brainwashing the plus size customer into thinking this is what's acceptable. So that if I put a size, you go back and you put a size 18-20, let's say on the Lane Bryant site, is that girl really going to sell the way we think she's going to sell? Because you've been brainwashing the customer for so long thinking that the size 10-12 is the way to go. So now she sees this bigger girl and she doesn't know what to think. You would think that she would be, yes, that's amazing, but we've tested it out ourselves. And the way that they see themselves is like, no, we're not supposed to look that big. They do it against themselves because they've been so brainwashed. They're so used to seeing smaller girls. I'm telling you, it is true.
Okay, you see the look. I just really can't.
Yes.
How do we change this? How do we affect change? Because this is ridiculous.
We can't wait for somebody else to change it. We have to be the ones to change it. What you're doing is changing it. What Full Figure Fashion Week doing is changing it. What Plus Model Magazine is doing is changing it. We cannot wait for them to catch up to us. We have to be the ones on the ground floor speaking to the plus size customer, to the women, because those are the people. We do have the power. We just don't realize we have it. We're just listening to models, Drop the Plus. We're listening to the brands. We're listening.
That Drop the Plus movement gets on my nerves. I think that the problem is a size 6, a size 8, a size 10, a size 12, dare I say a size 14. You're not really plus.
Right.
So maybe it shouldn't be Drop the Plus. You should be pushing to get the industry to change what they're doing. Because you should technically be lumped in with straight sizes.
Right.
Because plus sizes have to shop at a different store. If you can buy clothing everywhere, you're not plus size.
Right.
So Drop the Plus. Because you know, you don't have a problem taking the money from the plus size designers and manufacturers.
Right.
You need to be pushing against 7th Avenue and getting them to change that old ridiculous standard that they have.
Right. And I have an even better one. You're a model. You're not an advocate for anyone. And if you want to call yourself an advocate, then come and advocate and come and sit across from me and let me tell you what it's like to really be and live as a plus size woman. Because when they walk out the door, they are not plus size. But when I walk out the door, I am a plus size woman. So it's a big difference. You don't know what it's like to live as a plus size woman. So how dare you try to make a decision for me and you're not even a representative of who I am.
You better preach. Okay, Maddie. All right, we go calm things down, have a little woo-saw moment, because it's getting a little hot up in here. I'm gonna ask you the question that everybody wants to know: how I get on the cover of Plus Model Magazine? How does one get on the? Not even how do I get on the cover? How do I get in the magazine? How does that work?
So I like to say that there's a method to the madness. For instance, our cover model for June is someone that's walking at Full Figure Fashion Week. And she currently also has a commercial out. So it makes total sense for an online magazine. Who is that?
I'm trying to, okay.
You chose her. Her name is Michelle Rudin. I've always wanted to work with her, but I never worked with her. One, for fear that she was too small, and she actually is not. She is, amazing. And she's going to be at Full Figure Fashion Week. She's going to be on the runway. Mm-hmm. So it's just such a great way for me to promote Full Figure Fashion Week, promote what's going on there, and she has a commercial right now. I'm watching TV for Adore Me, for a lingerie company, on national networks. Yes. So why wouldn't? For an online magazine, this is what's important. Mm-hmm. You have to have a great social media, behind you, because that's what's going to help us. We need the help, and people need to know you. If you're popular, like every time I have Fluvia on a cover, that's the most popular of the year.
That's my girl right there.
Everybody loves Fluvia, and she's great on social media. So, it just kind of makes sense, and I try to get her at least once a year because it helps our numbers so much, and that's the truth.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about those numbers.
A business.
Yes, I would like to put Quanisha Jackson on the cover, but you're not selling copies, because people don't know who you are.
Exactly.
So you come back when you done got a little work up under your belt and people know who you are.
Exactly.
And then we'll talk about a cover.
Exactly. And it has to also be someone that, and if you're not like the most uber popular, you have to be up and coming and have something that makes you and separates you. So like our cover model for the following month is someone who has a very, very well-known straight size sister as a model. Her sister, our cover model for July, her sister's a very well-known straight size model. So our interview with her is, you are a plus size model and your sister is like super thin. How is that dynamic? That's what I wanted to know. Does she support you? Do you understand the industry? How does that even work?
What was y'all like growing up?
Exactly. So, and she's kind of like mixed in there, you know, and she's a full girl, so I wanted to kind of know what that dynamic was about, which is something different. I've never had someone like that on the cover before. And, you know, we shot her in a very high fashion, like they would shoot her sister. Really? So that's what we did for July.
Okay.
So there's always a lot of thought behind everything that we do.
And how far in advance? You guys shoot how many months in advance?
Most of the time it's 2 months, because the thing is, plus size fashion sometimes doesn't come out when it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. And, you know, maybe the bigger brands like the Bryant's or whatever, they'll have everything available. But if I want to pull from a smaller brand, because we do like to support indie designers, sometimes their stuff is not available. You know, they may not have fall ready, and here I'm shooting fall in July.
Right, so you do the season. So in winter, you're shooting summer stuff.
Right. And if you don't have the summer stuff available and you're still, you know, back at home sewing your swimsuits, you know, I'm like, when is it going to be ready? When is it going to be ready? Because I want to include you. So that's another reason why, you know, we don't do it, you know, 4 and 5 months ahead like we should. We do about 2 months to kind of give us the leeway, because I just don't want to use big brands all the time. I like to mix them up.
Now, do you have a segment in the magazine? And I should know this because I used to write for the magazine. Do you have a segment or a page where you feature like new faces and
We do. We have a spotlight model page, and Tiffany Bank actually puts that together for us.
Tiffany, I didn't forget about you. Yeah, I know I owe you an invitation. It's coming, okay?
She's really great. Some of the girls that we featured in the spotlight model have moved on to actually get jobs, get agents. I mean, she's really good at what she does.
That's what it's all about.
She really, because we're able to give them the exposure, but Tiffany's out there literally looking, and she'll send me, look at this girl, look at this girl. She has so much potential. I told her to go test. I mean, she's in it. Like, she is really, really amazing at what she does.
You see, Maddie just used that word test. Jesus, please write it down. It's very important, and it's important that you test a lot.
Yes.
And test with good photographers.
Yes.
You might, you know, it may take you a moment to get to great photographers, because that's going to cost a little bit. But damn it, shoot with a good photographer and stop being cheap. Save your money.
Yes, save your money for hair, makeup, styling, and the photographer. You will do wonders for your career. Wonders.
Okay, so what about the reality piece? You've done some reality television, right?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing though? You think about doing some more, or you got something you're not telling me about? You got something you're not telling me about.
Reality TV is really, really interesting.
Yes, I know.
Because the producers and dealing with them as a talent is kind of difficult, especially for someone like me, because I am who I am, and this is my career. So there's only but so much I'm going to kind of, you know, give in order to make great television. I think that what I do is interesting enough, and I think my character enough, you know, is interesting enough. They want me to curse people out. They want me to curse my staff out. I don't do that. That's not me. I don't do that. I love the people that I work with, you know, and if I have to get real with them, I get real in a very professional and respectful way. I really didn't like this. I think we need to do this better, blah, blah, blah. And it's a mutual respect. Mm-hmm. But they want, you know, they want me to go out.
Because that's what they think that everyone wants to see.
Exactly.
That's the other thing that I don't know how to change it, because I've written shows that I can't get pitched that are.
It's not it doesn't have enough drama.
Yeah, I don't want to see us doing that, because it's not necessary. And I think if you put together a quality show with a great topic, and I mean, yes, you need conflict.
Oh, absolutely.
But resolution in addition to that. I don't want to turn on the TV and every week y'all are throwing bottles and fighting and all this.
Exactly.
Because it's not necessary. And I know when I was modeling, that sort of stuff didn't go on.
Right.
That's not.
And the truth is, the brands and the people that are going to advertise in the magazine are not going to respect us if that's what they see from me. So I do have something coming out reality-wise coming down the pipeline. Just can't talk about it yet because I just signed a contract, but I feel comfortable that because it's not just about Plus Model Magazine, it's going to be 5 of us women together from all different backgrounds. It's not just a model, a bunch of models and me. It's a model, a stylist, you know, an editor, this, you know, so we're all different and they're gonna put us together. So that, to me, makes a little bit more sense because that's a little bit more interesting than just following Plus Model Magazine or just following a bunch of models. How many shoots could you watch, really, before you get completely bored? You know what I mean?
Well,
Let's
you
be
ain't
real.
bored if they fighting.
Yeah.
Well, who does that? Have you ever? When was the last shoot you been on where they was fighting and throwing shit? That
I
just
can't even remember. The
That-
last
'cause it
time that
doesn't
happened
happen.
was when the stylist decided that she was going to tell me, I told her not to do something, and I literally had to tell her, if you don't do what I tell you, you see that window? I'm going to throw you right out of that window. And we were at the Empire State Building. But that lady had to really push me really hard, because at the end of the day, I give people, you know, their leeway, but when I know that something is not going to be translated well into the plus size industry, when you put fat or something or on a ring or whatever, I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm doing. That's not where Plus Model Magazine is at. So that's something that I don't like and normally does not happen, but that is the last time that I had conflict on a set, and that was about almost 4 years ago.
Okay.
Because normally it doesn't happen. That's the truth.
Look, what's a typical shoot for
We have
Plus?
fun. We have fun.
What is that like? Describe
It's
it.
just, you get on set, you have a great crew, we have music, we have food, you know, and we just have a really, really good time. And I think the ones that I have the most great time with is the real woman shoots. Those are really popular. I started them at the end of last year. And we basically do a model search across the country, sometimes with brands, you know, they sponsor it, and we shoot women from all over. You know, these women will drive 11 hours to come to New York City for a photo shoot with Plus Model Magazine. Like, amazing.
Wow, that's popular
Amazing.
right there. Well, we're almost out of time, but I want you to, one, tell people where they can find you,
Okay.
and give some parting words to the model coming up today. Tell, you know, and some
Okay.
thoughts on what you want to see from them.
Okay. You can find us at Plus Model Magazine, plusmodelmag.com. And I think that if you're a model and this is what you want to do, research, know what you're doing, know what you want to do, and really, really go after what you want.
All right, good advice. All right, guys. I'd like to thank my guest, Ms. Maddie Figueroa-Jones, for sharing the industry knowledge with us today. This was a good show, Mike. You really gave us a lot of stuff. I appreciate that. Now, before I go, as always, you know how I do it. I want to leave you with a few thoughts. One, remember that you can't change the game until you first learn the game. Two, always surround yourself with positive people and positive things. And three, do what you love and love what you do. Thanks so much for watching. Class is officially dismissed. Bye, y'all.